We live in a time where the issue of sexual violence against women is openly acknowledged. Governments hold conferences, laws are enacted, international bodies release statements. Yet, the reality on the ground tells a different story.
The gruesome rape and murder of Nirbhaya in 2012 shook India. It sparked nationwide protests and forced a conversation about women's safety. But have things truly changed? The recent gang rape in Hyderabad in 2022 and the horrific incident at RG Kar Medical College offer bleak answers.
These cases are not isolated incidents. They are grim reminders that awareness, while crucial, is only the first step in a long and arduous journey. This dissonance between awareness and reality is a chilling indictment of the systems meant to protect women. It underscores the urgent need to move beyond mere acknowledgement of the problem. We must confront the deeply ingrained societal norms and systemic failures that allow these heinous crimes to persist.
The question is not whether we are aware, but whether we are ready to act. The fight for women's safety is not just about enacting stricter laws or increasing police presence. It's about dismantling the patriarchal structures that allow violence against women to flourish. It's about creating a society where women are not seen as vulnerable targets, but as equal members. Until then, the cycle of violence will continue, and the promise of safety will remain a distant dream.
A robust legal framework is often touted as the cornerstone of a just society. Amendments are made to existing laws, new legislation is introduced, and pronouncements are made about zero tolerance for crimes against women. However, the efficacy of these laws hinges on their implementation and the timely delivery of justice. Herein lies the problem.
The Indian legal system, burdened by a massive backlog of cases, often fails to provide swift and effective justice to survivors of sexual assault. Years, sometimes even decades, pass before a case reaches its conclusion. This delay not only subjects survivors to prolonged trauma, but also emboldens perpetrators. The message it sends is clear: justice delayed is justice denied.
This is further compounded by the fact that conviction rates for rape cases remain abysmally low. The fear of not being believed, of enduring a grueling legal process, and the slim chance of securing a conviction deter many survivors from reporting the crime.
The wheels of justice may grind slowly, but for survivors of sexual assault, justice delayed often feels like justice denied. The protracted legal battles, the arduous process of gathering evidence, and the uncertainty of the outcome can be deeply traumatizing. The legal system, while intended to protect, can often feel like another hurdle on the road to healing.
While enacting stringent laws is a crucial first step, it is rendered meaningless without efficient implementation. Laws and policies remain mere words on paper unless translated into concrete action on the ground. This gap between legislation and implementation is a significant hurdle in addressing the issue of sexual violence.
The police, often the first point of contact for survivors, need to be equipped with the sensitivity and training to handle such cases with empathy and professionalism. Furthermore, the lack of adequate infrastructure, such as forensic labs and dedicated support services for survivors, further exacerbates the problem. Guidelines on collecting evidence, conducting medical examinations, and supporting survivors are often not followed uniformly, leading to further trauma and a compromised pursuit of justice.
This lack of consistent implementation creates an environment where perpetrators are not held accountable, and survivors are left feeling re-traumatized and disillusioned by the very system that is supposed to protect them.
The fight against sexual violence requires a multi-pronged approach. Strengthening the legal framework is essential, but it needs to go hand in hand with robust implementation. Training programs for law enforcement, judicial officers, and medical professionals need to be prioritized. Building trust in the system requires demonstrating that justice is not only served, but seen to be served, swiftly and effectively.
Section 4. Beyond the courtroom social structures and silent complicity. The issue of sexual violence against women is not just a legal or political issue, it's deeply intertwined with the social fabric of our society.
Patriarchal attitudes, which place men in a position of power and control over women, create a fertile ground for such violence to thrive. The normalization of misogyny, often disguised as humor or tradition, perpetuates a culture where disrespecting women becomes acceptable.
This is further complicated by the lack of comprehensive support services for survivors. The stigma associated with reporting sexual assault, often rooted in victim blaming, prevents many from seeking help.
The fear of social isolation, of being ostracized by their families and communities, forces many survivors into silence. This culture of silence protects perpetrators and allows them to operate with impunity.
Addressing sexual violence requires a fundamental shift in societal attitudes and behaviors. Challenging patriarchal norms, promoting gender equality, and creating safe spaces for open dialogue are crucial steps in this direction.
We must move beyond the rhetoric of protecting women and work towards creating a society where they are empowered, respected, and treated as equals.
Section 5. Shifting the narrative, challenging deep-rooted norms. The pervasiveness of sexual violence against women is inextricably linked to the deep-rooted patriarchal norms that permeate our society.
These norms, often disguised as tradition or cultural values, perpetuate a dangerous power dynamic where men are conditioned to assert dominance and women are expected to be submissive. This power imbalance manifests in various forms, from everyday sexism and discrimination to the most heinous acts of violence.
Challenging these deeply ingrained norms requires a multi-pronged approach. Education plays a vital role in dismantling these harmful stereotypes. By promoting gender equality and respect for all genders from a young age, we can begin to shift the narrative.
The media, too, has a responsibility to portray women as equals and challenge the objectification and hypersexualization that often contribute to a culture of violence.
Creating a society free from sexual violence requires a collective effort. It necessitates a fundamental shift in our attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs about gender roles and power dynamics.
We must move beyond the rhetoric of women's empowerment and work towards creating a society where women are not just equal under the law, but equal in every sphere of life.
Section 6. A call to action for a future free from fear. The persistence of rape cases, despite increased awareness, is a stark reminder of the work that still needs to be done.
While legal reforms are essential, they are only one piece of the puzzle. We need a multifaceted approach that addresses the systemic failures, challenges patriarchal norms, and provides comprehensive support to survivors.
Strengthening law enforcement agencies, ensuring timely justice, and sensitizing the judiciary are crucial steps in building a system that inspires confidence and delivers justice.
However, true change can only come from within. We must actively challenge the misogyny and sexism that permeate our society.
Creating a future where women can live free from fear requires a collective effort. It demands a commitment from each of us to challenge our own biases, call out harmful behavior, and be allies in the fight for gender equality.
It is a fight for a just and equitable society, a fight for a future where every woman can live with dignity, respect, and freedom from fear.